Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Nightmare Narrative Podcast. I'm your host, Will Davis, and this is going to be the setup here every Monday at 8 p.m. live on YouTube. The day after, this will be posted on any podcast service that you listen to, from Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, and a few other places. But here's my office. It's my bedroom, really. Got my bed over here. But here's my bookcase with the posters and stuff. Eventually, I want to go ahead and fill this wall with a bunch of scary stuff. Same with the bookcase. I'm going to start filling it up with a bunch of memorabilia. And yeah, so the reason why I want to go ahead and do a live show every Monday is so that way you guys can be able to send in the chat your comments or questions and we can talk about these topics together. And so, how the show is going to go is we'll have a main topic, which the main topic for tonight's show is sleep paralysis. But first, we'll kind of talk about some of the scary news and events that have sort of happened over the past week. And really, the only one that I want to talk about tonight is Scream. So, Scream 5 just finished wrapping. And pretty much it's going to come out January 2022. And it's not going to be Scream 5. It's actually going to be some sort of reboot or reimagining, but it's going to have the original actors, Neve Campbell, and all those other guys. But it's written by Kevin Williamson. He's wrote the past three Scream films and or Scream movies. And Wes Craven, unfortunately, rest his soul, he passed away. He was the creator of Scream, but Kevin Williamson worked with him, and so I think that if they go the same route as the remake or kind of the sequel to the original Halloween that just came out in 2018, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the new Scream, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the character, how they're going to progress the story. Is it a progression of the story, or is it just some sort of reimagining where they're going to start it fresh with a clean slate with the same actors? I'm kind of hoping they do like a sequel and act like all the other movies didn't occur at all. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. So comment down below what you think of the next Scream movie. I'm kind of interested in what you guys think about it. So our main topic tonight is sleep paralysis. The reason why I chose sleep paralysis is because that was the first video I ever uploaded onto YouTube. Sleep paralysis is really important to me. It's something that I've experienced multiple times. I still do to this day, and honestly, even more so as of late. Sleep paralysis is when you wake up after having a dream and you're not able to move. The only thing you can move is your eyes. You can kind of look around the room, but that's about it. And a lot of the times, people claim to see something off in the corner of the room. Some cultures and different places that you happen to be at see certain types of things. I know here in America, a lot of people claim to see what looks like a man in the room that has a hat, a trench coat. They call him Shadow Man, which is the profile picture, the icon that I use for my YouTube channel. However, different cultures see different things. Some people claim to see what looks like a demon crawling into the bed with them, and they have these weird, grotesque faces. They could be men, it could be women. I know that up in, I want to say either Connecticut or Maine. No, Newfoundland. In Newfoundland, it's called a hag. And these people, there was a almost some sort of hysteria of a bunch of people in this town in Newfoundland seeing this woman, this old woman, almost described as like a witch, coming into people's bedrooms while they were sleeping and would crawl into bed with them. And she had long fingernails, gray hair, and she would just kind of like sit on top of them, like to the point where they couldn't breathe. And it felt like that she was there to kill them. And people from all different backgrounds witnessed the same person. And there was actually a doctor who did a study on these people in this town. And like I said, these people were either from there, they were from other places, men, women, people of different religions, different backgrounds, all the same creature or the same figure. and they all seem to call her a hag, which hag uh, is another word for witch, and that's pretty interesting, pretty scary. A lot of people just having the hysteria of seeing the same thing, uh, even though it's not tied to anything culturally, like something that you would expect to see. You know what I mean? So that was kind of weird. And doing some of the research, depending on where you're at, it's something different. So there they had the hag. In Japan, when they have sleep paralysis, what they see is dead relatives, but it's not the actual dead relatives. It's like whatever demon spirit is, it kind of takes the form of that person. And it's been known to crawl into bed with them or stand at the end of the bed. There's one story of a man who woke up, and at the end of the bed, he saw this sort of demon like creature that all of a sudden shapeshifted into his father. And his father looked at him and just kind of like smiled, and then faded away, and it became like this woman that he's never seen before. And then that faded away, and then it became like an old friend who passed away, and it started taking forms of different family members and friends that had been long gone, as if it was some type of way to kind of get him to be familiar with that creature or be familiar with it, so that way he can invite it in and it could be able to attach itself to him, or he would be vulnerable for it to come to him and have some sort of interaction with him. A lot of people in Japanese culture have seen this demonic creature in their bedroom at night, and let's talk a little bit about the phenomenon. Let's talk about the science behind it, what people see, and is there any truth behind it? So, sleep paralysis, by definition, is the act of waking up after sleep, and your body, it does a neurological thing while you're asleep. It makes it so that way you're paralyzed, so that way you don't act out your dreams, so that way you don't hurt yourself. It's some sort of evolutionary trait that humans have been given. And you can see the same thing with animals too. It's some sort of paralytic that allows you to not, run like you normally would in your dream in real life. So you're not running out of your bed, you're not hurting yourself or moving around constantly. You're laying in bed, and all those thoughts and all the actions are just up here and not actually going on. But what happens is some things get crosswired. So your body is still paralyzed. You still have that paralytic in you. But somehow, some way you wake up. A lot of the times you're having a nightmare. And that nightmare will suddenly wake you up. And so because of that, you come out of your dream, but your body's still paralyzed. And so what some doctors believe is that when you wake up after having a nightmare and your body is still paralyzed, your mind is looking around and you're trying to figure out why you're awake. And so what your brain does, if there isn't danger around you and it's trying to figure out, well, there's got to be some kind of danger, sometimes your mind can make up danger. Uh, and so we believe that when you wake up, you're looking around for something scary, you're looking for something dangerous, and so you're looking in these shadows in your room, and you'll see these figures because your mind is trying to make up something. And a lot of the times you can still be tired, you're still coming out of your dream, you're still in a dreamlike state, and so it's easier for you to imagine something like that. And so, for instance, a lot of people, when they wake up and experience sleep paralysis, they feel like they can't breathe, which is true. When you have that paralytic in you, it slows your breathing, so that way it's at a constant state. But when you're awake, you, of course, want to take in a deeper breath than you normally would. And so when these people wake up, they're trying to breathe, but they can't breathe because they're still the way that they normally would be, or they can't talk. And so the act of not being able to do that, you kind of create this idea of, why can't I breathe? Well, of course, something's on me. And so these people will imagine these little demons or people or spirits on top of them crushing their chest, so that way they can't breathe and taking that breath, or holding their throat to where they can't speak. And that could explain why people claim to see things when they wake up during sleep paralysis. Uh, what's interesting about sleep paralysis? That's where we get a lot of our myths and legends. We believe that vampires come from sleep paralysis. Uh, Things that would come into your bedroom, suck on your blood, and that sort of thing. That's of course where we get succubus, incubus. Succubus being a female spirit, incubus being a male spirit. A lot of the times would attack people sexually as well as physically, and these are things that people would conjure up in their mind. But what's interesting is in some cultures, especially in Africa, from some of the research that I did, other people would see these things. And so some people have witnessed, especially incubuses. It'll be a male spirit attacking a female. Uh, there's one story where this woman was sleeping. She had all of her kids around her, and she experienced this male presence come into her room. She woke up, she couldn't move, she couldn't speak, but she sees this male come in, and it began to sexually assault her. But the thing is, she was the only one that saw it. Her kids witnessed it. And to her and to them, that was real. And the scientists that were investigating it, like, they could not explain it. She had the physical after effects of being a victim of sexual abuse when she had sleep paralysis. This should be something that she imagined, but in reality, it actually happened to her. So that was pretty disturbing. Um, Instances like that, you can't really explain it. Some people wake up with scratches on their body and other physical things that actually happen to them, and they claim that those things happened because they were attacked or something lifted them up out of bed. There's been instances where people have actually like broken bones and stuff. They've witnessed what looked like something actually attacking them and giving them these bruises, these scratches, and that's where the scientists come in. They're like, well, you probably imagined it. You probably did that yourself, but in reality, you did that yourself, but you thought that it was something else doing that to you. I don't know if I buy that though, because if other people saw what looked like that thing attacking the woman, there's got to be some kind of validity to it. Um, I mean, of course, I believe in ghosts, and I think that when we sleep, we're pretty vulnerable to the other realm. And so while we're sleeping, these things are able to come in and they could attach themselves to us, or they could be able to get into our heads or make us do their bidding or try to use us as some sort of vessel. A lot of people look at the movie Insidious, like where you're able to sleep and go on to the other side, or and be able to go and visit the spirit realm, but come back to your body when you're done dreaming. A lot of people actually take a lot of stock into that and believe that that's real. Like when you're dreaming, you're entering into the spiritual realm, and if you don't come back to your body properly, then that's how possessions can occur. And some people, sleep paralysis led to possessions. There's been some instances with the Catholic Church where they've come in and had to do exorcisms to people that experience sleep paralysis, and it allowed some sort of spirit to come into their body. I'm interested to see what kind of sleep paralysis stories do you guys have. I would like to talk about mine a little bit. Um, I know for me, it happened, first started happening when I was in high school. I remember seeing a woman in the corner of my room. She was dressed in like a white gown, and she would walk towards my bed. But I couldn't move, I couldn't speak or anything like that. She would kind of stand over top of me, and then she would kind of fade away a little bit. And then when I moved out of my bedroom, I went downstairs and slept in the downstairs bedroom in the sunroom. One night, I had this crazy realistic dream. And I had a dream that I looked up out of the window and I saw what looked like a gargoyle sitting on the roof next door. and it was looking down at me, and it scared me so bad. I got up, went to the landline phone, picked it up, and called 911. And as soon as the operator answered on the other end, I immediately was like, no, there's no way I saw a gargoyle or whatever. But it looked like the typical image of what you would see a nightmare to be. Uh, a nightmare or nightmara is the term for the succubus, the incubus. Nightmara used to be like a vampire. It was when people would sleep. It was so common back like in the 1800s and before then, where people would say that these spirits that would come into their bedroom while they were sleeping, they were called nightmares. And that's, of course, where we get nightmare from. Over time, it kind of lost its meaning, and it became more about a dream than necessarily a spirit that come and visits you at night. So I believe to myself, I saw what looked like a typical nightmare. That looked like that little gargoyle thing. Um, After that instance, I was here with my ex. I was laying in bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I looked out in the hallway, and in the bathroom, I could see the bathroom, and then I saw what looked like this long black hand reach out, grab onto the wall, and then like a head peeked out and looked at me, and then the other hand came out and grabbed on the wall and pulled out, and then I was able to sit up. I was able to break out of like holding still. Like I was able to finally move, and I sat up and looked at it. And you would think that it would just go away or vanish or whatever, but no. Instead, what happened was it moved its hand back inside, then its head, and then its other hand. And so I get up out of bed. I go into the bathroom, throw open the shower curtain, cut on the light. Nothing's there. I check the guest bedroom. I go downstairs, check all of downstairs and everything, every closet, every room, everything. Don't find anything. I legit thought that someone was in the house. And I noticed that I would get sleep paralysis a lot whenever I would be depressed or I would be anxious about something, or if I had a lot of lack of sleep. If I was having insomnia, it would happen quite often, and especially now, ever since I've been single and have been like sleeping in here by myself, and of course, I've gone through some sort of like depressive state, and I've been seeing it a lot more. I haven't seen that particular thing that I saw in the bathroom, but I have seen like people in my room, and sometimes it's more than just one. A few nights ago, I saw what looked um, like this man over to the left in my closet, and then to the right there was another man. It was two men in my room, tall shadow figures. And I want to say these things that I see, they're different every night. It's never the same. It's never the same thing. Uh, some nights it'll be like a pirate looking thing. Other nights it'll be what looks like a soldier from the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. I have seen what looks like the man in the trench coat and the top hat. I have seen what looks like gray aliens. I've seen what looks like women in like these ball gown dresses. Really creepy, scary stuff. And not just people. I haven't really heard this one too much, but I see a lot of spiders and bugs. I and the thing is, I'm not even scared of those. I'm not scared of spiders. I could kill one right now. It'd be fine. But in the middle of the night, like I'll wake up and I'll see what looks like a huge spider on the ceiling or like at the window or something, or like just spider webs all in the room. Uh, I I've seen what looks like walls kind of like turning to blood and kind of like peeling and stuff, like the paint coming off, and like the room itself kind of transforming. And then I'll kind of wake up and look around and like focus on it, and then slowly it'll kind of go back to normal, which is weird. And I know that everything that I've seen, I know that it's not real. I know that it's my mind just playing tricks on me and stuff, but it really messes. messes with you after a while. I know for the people that this has happened to, that have seen these kinds of things, I know that it messes with you. Unfortunately, for some people, it gets to the point to where they can't really sleep at night, and that's really really unfortunate. I try not to let it mess with me. I try to ignore it as much as possible and just go back to sleep. Know that it's not real, or if I can, I'll try to talk to it. Um, Luckily, lately though, I've gotten to the point to where I can actually move. Like I'm not stuck in my bed. Like I can talk. I don't. It's not like I can't scream or breathe or anything like that. But I see weird things. Uh, but comment below what you've seen. Why you've been sleeping. Like what you see when you wake up, and anything creepy or scary or anything like that. Because I've heard some stories from you guys. There's definitely some things that have happened to you, and it's good to talk about it. The thing with sleep paralysis is you're not alone. A lot of people experience it. I believe on the documentary I was watching, it was 1 in 5 people experience sleep paralysis at some point in their adult life. And one of the things to help you with it is you have to talk about it. You have to understand that you're in control, and that uh, no matter what happens, you cannot let it have control over you. The more you feed into it, the more it'll happen. For instance, if you're scared to go to sleep, you'll stay awake longer. And because of that, you'll have more insomnia. More insomnia leads to you having these types of visions, like these things that you see when you wake up in the middle of the night, when you finally do go to sleep. So talk about it. Don't let it control your life. Just go to sleep at a normal time and try to keep your mind off of it. I think I've heard somewhere where people are saying, avoid caffeine, avoid being on your phone before bed, that kind of thing. That'll kind of alleviate it. So do those things. And then if you're lucky enough to be sleeping with a partner, make sure that they're in on it. Make sure that they're helping you through it, that they understand, you don't want to see these things. And so you're not making it up. They need to be supportive of you and to understand that you're not making it up, and that you want to get better, and you don't want to see these things. So they need to be there to help you understand that what you're seeing isn't real, and that you're safe, and that these things aren't going to hurt you, and you need to know that you're in control always. And like I said, I believe that these things that I'm seeing are not real. But I do believe that some of the things that people have seen are real, based on the evidence of some of the physical things that have happened to them. Like that woman that was sexually abused, and some of these people that have these weird scratches or things happen to them when it shouldn't. I believe those people. And to them, that's when you would have to get some sort of professional help involved, whether that is a priest to do some sort of blessing, or to have a paranormal investigator team come in to find out if it is some sort of demon, or if it's a ghost that's attached to the house or to yourself that is causing these things to happen. But either way, if you're going through this, you got to seek some kind of help in whatever way possible. And if you ever want to talk about it, just let me know. But sleep paralysis is a scary thing that I hope that you don't ever have to experience. But if you do, I just want you to know that you're not alone. 1 in 5 people experience this. And yeah, anything that you have as far as stories go, anything you want to talk about, comment below, or you can email me, nightmarenarrative@gmail.com. So thank you guys so much for watching this show. Beginning this coming Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be a live show. You can tune in. We can go ahead and answer some of your questions that you may have. And tune in to Spotify, iTunes for the podcast version of the show. Or you can go onto YouTube, search Nightmare Narrative. You can be able to find it there. For the podcast, of course, it's called Nightmare Narrative Podcast. You can search for it there. to be able to find it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, sleep well.